Hello. The purpose of this video is to explain how to annotate text inside model space. So our last video was how to create a printable PDF of our site plan. And all these text that we added here, the name of the streets and the annotation for the building, that was done in Paperspace. Okay. So if I click on this one, I can actually delete it. Okay. Undo. And then we can do a preview and we can see the text and the drawing of our lot from model space. Okay, so I'm going to press escape. So if I go back to paper space, which you can switch here on the lower left, model space. Okay, there are no actually text here in model space. All the text is in paper space. Okay, so if I wanted to put uh, a text, I usually put them in um, paper space. And the height of this text, if I click and right click and click properties, the height of this text is, I think, 1/4. There you go. The height of the text is 1/4. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. So if I try to add a text in model space, okay, so to add a text, I click this text, I click single line. I'm not a fan of model space, and I simply just maybe put a text here, and I type in a height here, a height of 1/4, 1/4 inches. Press enter, and then I type in text. Press enter. I don't see anything, but it's there. It's just very, very small because that is 1/4 of an inch. Okay, this drawing is done at 1:1 scale. So 1 inch is to 1 inch, 1 foot is a 1 foot. So that when we measure this height or this width over here, that is like 9 feet. So if I put in 1/4 of an inch, naturally it'll just be very small because that is actually 1/4 of an inch. Okay, because it is drawn to scale, 1:1 scale. Okay, I'm going to erase this now. So uh, we don't actually put in a text in model space, we put it in paper space nowadays. Before, what we do is put the text inside model space, but we have to adjust and compensate for the scale that we wanted to do. So some people, like me, still wants to put text inside model space and not put everything in paper space. Okay, and the reason behind that one is because, like for example, this hatch, if I put in a text, say proposed building, on top of this hatch, because I'm doing it in paper space, is I would see the hatch go through my text, right? So if I wanted to put the same name, proposed building here, okay, and I wanted to put it in paper space and model space, I have to compensate for the scale of what I want this drawing to be printed. So if I go to layout, I wanted this drawing to be printed at 3/32 of an inch. Okay, so if I double click, the scale here is locked to 3/32 of an inch, is to foot. So that's what I intend to print. I intend to print it to 3/32. What is now the equivalent text height of 1/4 inch on a scale of 3/32? So you have to do some calculation. So before we did those calculation every single time, and then at some point we created a table, and this is what that table would look like if I can find it. There you go. So this table now looks like something like this. So this is a table um, that converts a certain height of text, and this is only for height of text. A 1/4, a 3/16, a 1/8, and a 3/32. So if I wanted a 1/4 inch text, okay, and I wanted to print it at a 1 inch is to 1 foot, then it's just the height is 3 inches. Because if I wanted to print into 1 foot is equal to 1 foot, then the height is 1/4. So now, if I wanted to print it in a 330 seconds, because that's our intended scale here is 330 seconds, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at what is the equivalent 1/4 inch inside a 330 second scale. So here's my 330 seconds, and here is the equivalent height of text. Okay, this is the height of text that we want, 330 seconds. Whoop, that's too big. I'm gonna undo. Okay, that's the height of text that we want, 332. A 1/4 inch text height on a 332nd inch to a foot scale is 32 inches tall. So if I wanted to write this proposed building, okay, which is right now, it's done in paper space. If I want to write that in model space, I have to change the height to 32 inches. So if I go text, single line text, and put in right on top here, okay, and on the height, instead of putting 1/4, I'm going to put in 32 inches, 32 inches, and press enter. Okay, and then the rotation angle is just 0, press enter, and then now I can type in proposed building, proposed building. So now this text is written in model space. If I now go to paper space, I can now see that those texts are matching, right? They're exactly the match because this text is 1/4 inch, but I decided to write that inside model space. So as you can see, I can't select that anymore because it's inside model space. Okay. This one I can select, I can erase them, erase this and erase this. But I can erase this because it's in model space. I can go inside the model space by double clicking, and then I can now select that and move that wherever I want. I can also copy it just like we did in paper space. But this one was done inside model space. Okay, so I'm going to double click outside to go to paper space. Oh, there, paper space. Now this one I can select because that's in paper space. This one I can select because that's in paper space. This one I cannot. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't highlight when I hover over it because this one is in paper space. So I have to first enter paper space, double click, I mean model space, double click, before I can select that. Okay, so what is the benefit of something like this? Well, let's go to model space. So the benefit is when you put a hatch on a space where there's text. Let's move this out for a second. If I hatch this now, okay, uh, let's hatch this icon over here, or I can type in hatch, and I select the inside of this box, okay, with the text. You can see that it doesn't put a text, or it doesn't put a hatch over my text. Okay, click that. I'll match property. I'm going to copy this property with this one. So you can see now that I can now read the text because there's no overlap with any hatch. And that's why sometimes we want to put in a text, an annotation inside model space and not always in paper space. Okay. So that's one of the benefits and one of the reasons why we want to put text in model space and not in paper space. So this is in paper space, this is in model space, and I put in a hatch after I've added a text. So now it detects that that is a text and it doesn't put any hatch over it. Okay, so that's how that's one trick on how to add text in model space. You have to compensate for the scale, and we use the table like this. This is an incomplete table. I'll post this table on our dashboard or on our module so you can also look at this one. But yeah, that's one of the things that was the reason why we put text in model space. Another reason why we put text in model space is because we want to calculate the area. Okay, so let's just move this first. Move, enter. I'm moving it because I want to copy the property later. I'm going to also move this out of the way. And what I can do is I wanted to add the area of this building onto my uh, annotation or add the annotation of the area. So in AutoCAD, we can find the area of a shape. Um, there are different ways of doing it, but we're going to do it by uh, pointing to the corners of the building. Okay. Now, if there is a curve on the building, we have to do it a different way. We have to make the object a single object by doing a polyline edit, but let's just go with this one for our simple project. So to find the area of a um, building where you don't have a curve, you type in area command, enter. Oh, let's type it here, AREA, press enter. And then to find the area, you have to point to the first point, second point, third point. As you can see, as you can clicking, that green shaded portion, that's what AutoCAD will calculate for the area. Okay, since we have four corners, we have to pick in 4 points. So that's my third one. And then my fourth point is here. I don't have a fifth one. So if I don't have a fifth one, I just press enter and AutoCAD will tell me that the area here on the lower left, the area is 201,600 square inches or 1,400 square feet. It will also give me the perimeter between my first, second, third, fourth, and back to my first point. And that one is 150 feet. So that's how to find the area of a building with no curved shapes. Again, if there's a curved side of a building, we have to do it differently. So we're going to put the area or annotate this building with the area. Okay. So we're going to move this here, move it back. Okay. Let's change the property of this one. Click, click, right click, property, and then we're going to change it to justification. We want to change it to center. Okay, there you go. And then we're going to move that again and move it on the center. And then we're going to copy this and bring it down. And then we're going to double click that so we can edit the text that we just copied. And we're going to put in 1,400 square feet. Okay, and then press enter to stop. Now, uh, what we did was we annotated this with the area of this building using the area command and finding out the area first. Now, I don't want that that to be the same height as this one. I want this one to be a little bit smaller, so I can just simply click on it, right click, properties, which brings this box which is already out there, and I just want to change the height here. Okay, right now this is 2 foot 8. So if I wanted to just be 2 feet, so I simply put in 24 inches or 2 feet, press enter, and that one will make it a little bit smaller, which is what I want. Okay, so I wanted the main name of this one to be the proposed building, but I also want to annotate it with the square footage. So now I'm ready to put in a hatch. Close this. I'm going to click this for the hatch. Okay, and then I will um, copy the property of this hatch. So I'm going to click this and then select this or that one, doesn't matter. Click this. Now I wanted to click on the point here. You can see it will auto detect and put a invisible island on the text. Press OK to close. I want to delete this now. Delete. Press this one to delete. And then I wanted to now go to my layout. And then I wanted to do a preview. Press enter. And then see that now I know that this building is the footprint. This is the lot. I have my parking space, my trash enclosure, and then I have a square footage for the footprint of the building, which is 1,400 square feet. Okay, why do we want to do that? So that when we present this to the building department, okay, um, they would know that this building is not 70%. They can visually see it's not 70% of the lot, and it's only 1,400 square feet. Okay, and we want to put that also on our cover sheet that we're gonna do at a later date. Okay, but that's how to put in text inside model space, and that is how to ask AutoCAD what the area of a non-curved building is, so that we can add the area annotation, and we did that both in model space. Okay, so that was the lesson for this video.